Hello, everyone. I am so excited you are here. Welcome to Confidence Tea Infusions. Tonight, we're here on a very special night. It's a little bit different. I am coming to you live from Orlando, Florida. So, all my Orlando people, what's up? All my South Florida people, what's up? Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to get on. We're going to do a 30-second countdown, let you get situated, grab your cup of tea, and it's time for Confidence Tea Infusions. I'm back. Welcome to Confidence Tea Infusions, where we get to share an intimate, confidence boosting conversation between girlfriends over a cup of tea. So, ladies, I hope you have your favorite cup of tea, and I want you to get ready because tonight we are talking about family secrets and generational trauma. I want you to get ready for this mind transforming, soul edifying, confidence activating tea. I am so excited you're tuned in today. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're from. This is meant to be a dialogue, not a monologue. I have a very special guest tonight, Miss Kyra. She's going to be sharing with us tonight. She's going to talk about some of the issues that she faced. We know that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And on tomorrow is actually the very first Mental Health Awareness Day. So definitely stay tuned. We have some special things going on. Make sure you stay to the end. Like I said, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time tuning in or you have no idea who I am, my name is Virginia Madison, but everyone calls me Gigi. I am a Jill of many trades. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and also theology. I am a registered esthetician. I'm a licensed insurance broker, and I am also a certified master life coach and a certified etiquette consultant. With that being said, I am truly a Jill of many trades, but what I am most proud of is being the founder and CEO of Gigi Inc., which is Girls Igniting Greater Inner Strength. It is a nonprofit confidence building organization for adolescent girls. We help girls journey through adolescence with positive self-esteem and healthy self-confidence so that they can win the mental, physical, and emotional battles of adolescence. And so that is my baby. That is what I am most proud of. That is what I pour my life work into because I just love empowering the next generation of girls so that they can become confident women. And Confidence Tea Infusions is just an extension of that because women, we need an outlet too. We need to be poured into as well. We need to work on our self-esteem as well. We need to boost our confidence as well. And we need to do it together sometimes. We need to do it as a sisterhood. And so Confidence Tea Infusions is that intimate conversation between girlfriends, and we get to do that over a cup of tea. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to our very special guest this evening, Miss Kyra. She is a mental health advocate. She's a public speaker. She is a clarity coach. She helps Black women find clarity in their lives. She does this by decluttering their thoughts and helping them to streamline their goals. She helps them if they're encountering any negative beliefs. She uses very powerful coaching techniques. She serves in her community. And so she is someone that has conquered and she has gone through personal pains and she's triumphed and she has the courage now to help others triumph as well. She's also a beauty influencer. She loves collaborating. She actually reached out to me because she wanted to. She saw everything that I was doing with Gigi Inc. and she wanted to be a part of that. And so that's how we were able to, get connected. And so I am very, very excited tonight to introduce to you Miss Kyra. So let me add her on.
Hello.
Hey! Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I am so happy you could be here tonight. It's been so awesome connecting with you. You have such
Yeah.
a lovely personality, such a bright spirit. And it's like when you reached out to me, I was just like, me, little old me.
Yes. Yes,
And
you.
so and so I am so excited to have you on tonight. That way you can share, because once we started talking and we've been getting to know each other a little bit better, and it's almost like the timing was perfect, because I was like, this is what I'm going to be focusing on for the month of May, Mental Health Awareness Month, because I know a lot of women struggle and deal with mental health. And so let's get acquainted. Just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and let's get started.
So, my name's Kyra, like she said, Kyra, and I go by Kyra Ariana because, my mom named me that, and that's really special to my heart. So I was like, let me name my business after that, Kyra Ariana. And so, what I do is I am a life coach, and I specifically help Black women because Black women are disadvantaged. And I help them, especially, and I'm actually branching out onto teenage girls as well, through you. And so I basically help them to reach their goals in life and help them realize that they are wonderful, beautiful beings, and that this is what life is here for. Life is here to make it your own life, make it your own beautiful painting. Look at everything, put it together, and make it your own mosaic, your own beautiful mosaic. And that's what I'm here for. And so, a little bit more about me is I really love self-care. And also, I was working on my podcast called The Self-Care Plug, and I'm working on revamping that. And because that's what I call myself. I call myself the self-proclaimed self-care plug, because that's
Mhm.
something that I really take pride in, in all aspects of my life. And that's something that I promote because self-care covers so much of our lives that, we have to practice it. And
Yeah,
I, and I
absolutely.
and I try to make people aware that self-care isn't something that should be treated as like a special treat, even though sometimes, it can be that, but it should be something that's constant and that's everyday. That's an everyday fight to take care of yourself because you are special. You are
Mhm.
special. And also, I am a cat mom. I have a little chubby cat. His name is Valentino, and he's the best. And my passion is just to help women and help girls alike because I've been there. We've a lot of us have been there where we've been in that lane of just not knowing what's going to happen, what's going to come next. Just so many different things that we deal with in life every day that we just don't know where to go. We don't know where to turn. We don't know who to look to. And I want to be that beacon. I want to be that person that people look to for light, for support, for help, for anything if they need it. But, it's just, I want to be that person. So that's just a little bit about me. If I could just say
Awesome.
more, I feel like I could just keep going, but that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. 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 Well, I know tonight we were going to focus on, and so Kyra's actually going to be here this week and next week. So tune in next Sunday. We're going to be here next Sunday. Definitely. So, but tonight we wanted to focus on family secrets and generational trauma. And so, and this is your title. This is what you said you wanted to speak on. So tell us about that as it relates to so I'm assuming that you have experienced some generational trauma that was probably brought on by some family secrets. So let's dive into that. Let's talk about that.
So, growing up, I mean, if you really didn't, if you looked at me, you would say, "Oh, she's a happy-go-lucky child." But I dealt with a lot growing up. Um, I believe around the age of 4 or 5, I was molested by someone in the family. And that was one of the things that I didn't know was going on in my family. One of the things that after that had happened, what they had talked about, what different family members had talked about, what they had went through in the family. So that was something that was going on within the family. That was a family secret that I didn't know
Hmm.
about. So
Okay.
it was just certain people doing that. And so as a child growing up and you seeing that, you you tend to it tends to leave scars, you know what I mean, like emotional scars that you try to grow from. And so from there it was just something that was really hard to push past. And so growing up and getting older, you know, you're kind of wondering, well, why do I do this, why do I do that, you know, why is it that I'm like my mom, she was also molested. She had so many things that she went through as a child. And so
Mhm.
I didn't know that I was mirroring what she was going through.
Wow.
And
That's
so,
and that's a result of the family secret, because she didn't, it's not talked about, right? What happened to me was not, and even though it happened to you, we continue this vicious cycle.
right.
And you are choosing to bring light to it, and
Yeah.
because you want to stop that cycle. You don't want the same thing to happen to your child, or and
Right.
so we deal, I feel like, in our community, we deal with that a lot. Like, what happens in the house stays in the house, right? Like, we hear, like, in African American families, like, we hear that, and it's like part of our culture. Like, it's like, oh my god, it's ingrained in us. Like, what happens in our house stays in our house, and no matter how hurtful or how much trauma it's causing us, how much we're spiraling out of control, we just have to keep it on the hush hush. So
Right.
let's, yeah.
And that's something that actually one of my family members had told me. She said, that's not something you talk about, you know? And I was just looking at her like, so I'm not supposed to protect myself and protect others by divulging this information. I'm supposed to hold it, and it's supposed to hurt me. But that comes from that old mentality of, just like you said, sweeping it under the rug, you know,
Mhm.
and we don't, it's something that just within the Black community, I wouldn't say necessarily protect. Well, it kind of can be like that, but it's like you want to kind of stray away from that whole, oh well, he's this or she's that, so I'm not gonna say it. But it's like at the end of the day, it's going to trickle down. It's going to keep going and keep going until it just wreaks havoc. So as an adult, it's like you have to make an adult decision, and you have to make a responsible decision. And
Mhm.
you have to look at your child. You have to look at the children, because it comes out in so many different ways. It comes out in so many different ways, whether that be behavioral, um, mental health wise, academic. I mean, the cries for help that a child in so many different ways can talk about comes out in so many different ways. And so that's
Mhm.
why I wrote in one of my speeches, I was like, my voice, you're gonna hear it, and it's loud.
Mhm.
And that's
That's
what I
good.
want.
That's good.
And it's loud because you're gonna hear it, and I'm gonna fight everything that has happened from here on out until now, until everyone everyone that I tell will hear it and understand it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So how did that, so let's talk about, okay, you going through that experience. How did
Mhm.
that impact you, growing up, as far as your self-esteem? Like what did that do to you? Going through that traumatic experience, like what did that do to your self-confidence and how you interacted with people?
So it really it really made my self-worth and my self-esteem kind of plummet, because I felt like something, like it was my fault or something was wrong with me.
Mhm.
Especially your innocence being taken from you for at such a young age. You're kind of aware of certain things that you should not be aware of, like certain, you know what I mean, certain things. And
Mhm.
so when
How
other
old
people,
were you? How old were you when that happened?
I was about 4 or 5 the first time.
Wow.
So
Wow. Wow.
yeah, it was just certain things that I wasn't supposed to know, that I was aware of. And so when certain people would talk about certain things, I'm like, how? And then like I remember one time in class, one of the little boys, he had like a picture, and everybody was like, ew, ew, look at the picture. And I was just like, but I know what that is. And so that day, I knew that something was wrong. I knew
Mm.
that something was wrong. I knew that I wasn't supposed to know. I wasn't supposed to see that. I just knew from everybody else's reaction that this is something that wasn't supposed to
Right.
be, I wasn't supposed to be exposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you like so when that event occurred, were you able to tell somebody? Like did you tell, a parent? Did you tell or did you just kind of, keep that kind of like you felt like, maybe it was your fault, so let me not say anything. How did that come about?
So I remember my grandmother, she told me that I told her. And what they did with it, I really don't know, because after that, it just kept happening.
Mm,
After that, it just kept happening. They didn't, I'm guessing they didn't do much. Like, um, I remember one point they had reported to the authorities, but as far as like getting anything done with the person that did it, I don't think anything happened with that person.
got it.
And
Okay.
so it was just really hard for me to deal with that. And still to this day, I'm just like, why wasn't anything further? Why wasn't it taken any further than that? So
Mhm.
it was just really hard for me to deal with at that time, and really hard for me to just kind of, you know, sit with that, because something like that happening that young really has a really big impact on you for the rest of your life.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah, so from there, it was kind of like just, it just kept happening and kept happening. So that wasn't the first time it happened. And that was another thing that affected my self-esteem, was that because it happened so frequently, um, I just didn't know how to think of myself. I didn't know how to separate myself from the act and separate myself as a child. So therefore, I thought that it was something wrong with me.
Wow, wow. So when did you begin to cope or when did you begin to deal with, okay, this is what happened and I need to seek healing for what happened to me? Like how old were you or when did you realize, okay, I really need to deal with this issue or that it was even an issue?
Um, I remember the very first time I really talked about it, like really sat down and talked about it with my grandmother. I was 15 years old, and it was just like, it was like, but when I got like around the age of 19 years old, that's when I moved out,
Okay.
because that's when it happened with the family's friend. They tried to take advantage of me then, and I was telling that person, the family member, that hey, this is what's going on, and they weren't listening to me. And so I had to make a decision. I was like, either something bad is going to happen where somebody's going to be in jail, someone, maybe me, maybe my brother, maybe, because I was like, I have to tell someone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I had to remove myself from the situation because no one would listen to me.
Wow. And so this continued from the age of 4 and up until
I would say I would say frequently from the age of 4 up until the age of 11. And then it
wow.
stopped for a while, and then it started back up when I was about the age of 19.
Oh wow. 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 So that was a lot. Talk about trauma. Like and I'm assuming your family just kind of kept it under wraps, like under like it wasn't something that was discussed or like there was no, let's seek counseling or anything like that.
No,
Wow.
because a lot of times they would tell me I'm over analyzing things. Now that's another thing that a lot of people that try to hide it, they'll say you're overthinking it. It wasn't that bad. You're doing things for attention. You're attention seeking. So those could be a lot of things that are being told to children that have been abused. So
Wow.
that's
Wow.
another thing that I try to ask or look for, you know.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
something that is that's something that's really, it really stifles you as a child.
Hmm.
You're trying
Yeah.
to grow and you're trying to do better and be better as a child, but someone's telling you no.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. That is, yeah. Wow. And then, so when did you find out that your mother was also like a similar thing happened to your mom, and that, like this was a generational, thing?
My mom told me, I would say she officially told me that something happened to her. I would say I think I was around the age of 20, 21 when she told me,
Oh,
like
wow.
like what I can remember as far as me remembering. She told me that someone in the family had molested her.
Hmm.
And so that's when I was just like, really, what? And so I realized that a lot of what my actions were mirroring her actions. So it
Hmm.
was it was this whole generational trauma, but it was like a mirror being held up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 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 And how, like, was she, how did she say that, how did she deal with it versus how you dealt with it?
Well, she didn't deal with it in the healthiest way. She did not deal with it in the healthiest way. She dealt with it through like substance abuse and things like that. She's fine now, but then she dealt with it through substance abuse and different things like that. And so, based on how I dealt with it, was I dealt with it through my faith, and I dealt with it through leaning on my support system that I had. Go figure, my mom was one of my support systems, and
Hmm.
just yeah, my faith, my support system, and therapy. That's one of
Wow.
that's one of the biggest things, because even though my family told me, therapy is something that it's only for, rich white people, or you don't need it, you're not crazy, quote unquote crazy. Um, it was something that the people at my place of worship, they really was like, you need to go to therapy. So
Wow. And therapy is important. And I feel like that is such a misconception in our communities, as far as people not getting the help that they need in order to receive proper healing. Because they think, okay, this is for this person or this is for that person. Like, and there's no such thing. If you experience any type of trauma, you need to seek the help that you need in order to heal properly. And I feel like a lot
exactly.
of women, as it relates to building confidence and, just in confidence, I feel like encompasses everything. It touches every area of your life, everything you're going to do as a woman, from being a wife to being a mother, to, your career, your goals, everything you're going to do, you need confidence to do. Right? You need the
Yes,
assurance to do that thing, right? You need the
exactly.
assurance to know that I can parent this child. I can do this
Exactly.
job, right? I can walk in here and I can command these different things. And so when something happens that attacks that confidence directly, then, and you never, seek help, or you never seek healing, or you never talk about it, emotionally, you're suffering, emotionally, you're drowning. And I feel like it continues and it builds and it festers, and then eventually it just comes tumbling down.
And that's what happened for me. Um, I basically had attempted suicide 3 times, and I
Oh,
survived every
wow.
attempt. Yes, I survived every attempt. It was something that was just really heavy on me. Just not only that, but just going through the verbal abuse in my family. Sometimes physical abuse. It was just very hard for me to deal with that. And so it became like a sort of, because I was keeping it all in, and I felt like it was my fault because of the conditioning of the mind that happens when people tell you, hey, you're not supposed to do this, like you. I had a lot of
Mhm.
self-loathing, you know what I mean? Like a self-loathing type of attitude. And so because of that, that's why I did what I did. And
Oh,
it's just certain behaviors that come out when you're being told, this is your fault in a way, or it's something that you could have done better, or you caused it, or something like that. It comes out in different behaviors. And another one of those behaviors that I also, to this day, I still struggle with this. It's self-harm. Self-harm.
Wow.
And so I like to put that out there because I like to fight the stigma, because, I want to let people know that this is what people deal with. And especially our Black girls, and the suicide rate among Black girls is high. It's something that is an unspoken thing, but it's there.
Yep. And I'm literally suicide is the leading cause of death among girls ages 14 to 24. Not
Mhm.
car accidents, not health conditions, not any other way that they could die. It's suicide. And so you have to think that someone is in a whole lot of pain, and really it's not that you want to end the pain. And so in your mind it's like the only way to end the pain is to end me because I'm in so much pain. So you said
Right.
you attempted 3 times. So how old were you the first time, second time, and third time?
The first time, and it's so many different layers to the story because I used to be married.
Mhm.
Um, the first time it happened, I believe I was around the age of 24 or 25.
Okay.
And around that age, I was married at that point.
Okay.
And that had a big impact on my marriage and that person and how they handled it and everything and how we both were and, everything. And it was just so much that I was still healing and dealing with, that it just had a really big impact. So I was about 24, 25. The second time it happened, I believe I was around the age of 26. And then the last time it happened, I'm trying to think because it's really all a blur. But it
Mhm.
was it was a succession. It was a
Okay.
succession.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
was really tough. It was really tough.
And it was like I said, it was the pain. Like you wanted to get out of what you were feeling. Like talk about like what you were feeling. Like what were some of the things you were experiencing during those moments of time when you just wanted to be done with it?
A lot of times, and I hear this a lot. I'm a burden, and that's something I was dealing with. I'm a burden. I'll never get over this. I'll never get through this. If it wasn't for me, maybe this wouldn't have happened. It'll just be better. They'll forget about me. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Very self-defeating attitude because of like I said, the conditioning of the mind through the abuse and what people
Mhm.
said.
The verbal abuse, and I'm assuming it was also a lot of self-blame. Sounds like just blaming
Yeah.
yourself for it all, like carrying the weight of everything that happened to you, even though it was not your fault. Like what happened to you was not by any means anything that you did or anything that like there was at 4 years old, there is nothing that you could have done to deserve that type of treatment, that type of abuse. However, our minds and what people say to us and how people treat us sometimes it plays tricks on us. And, it causes us to think that we are to blame, versus I think it's like natural instinct to first blame ourselves for what's
Right.
occurred.
Right, because when you're a child, you kind of think, oh, well, they're adults, so they must know better than I do. So therefore, if they say this, then it must be true. They know me, like they've raised me, they
Mhm.
know, and that was my mindset. My mindset
Yeah.
was, oh, they raised me, they know me, they must know how I think, and they must know what's best for me. So therefore, it must be my fault because they're saying it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's something that I struggled with for a long time. But now getting to the point where I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen on my watch. Even if I think that it's going to happen to someone else, it's not going to happen on my watch.
Mhm.
It's just something that I'm very adamant about because no one should have to deal with that pain. No one. It's
Exactly.
very I mean it changes your whole life. And it's like even people that say, "Oh, it doesn't affect me." You know, it affects people in ways that you don't even understand, that
Mhm.
you may not even know. Like you may get angry sometimes for no reason. You may get depressed sometimes for no reason. I mean, there's a lot of things that suppressing things can do unintentionally in the back of your head, and subconsciously.
Yeah, yeah,
So people have to
absolutely.
realize that. People have to realize that, and it's something that's just one of those silent things, and it shouldn't be. It should not be like that, and especially in the Black community, it should not be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like as Black women, we have to make a point to um take care of those generational things, those burdens, those things that we've been carrying with us from, and we're thinking like, okay, we have to carry this load, and it's like, no, we don't. No, because if we don't stop it, then the next generation is going to have to continue to deal with it. And so it's up to us, right? If we pick up and we pick up the fight and we say it stops with me, it stops with
Exactly.
me. Like
Exactly.
for me, I take charge in the realms of like insecurity. I'm like, I fought the battle of insecurity so that my child does not have to fight that same battle. Like my child should not have to suffer. My child deserves to roam this earth with confidence because I have already fought that battle and I have triumphed. And I feel like it's the
Exactly.
same thing. You have overcome something great. Like for you to be a living, walking testimony of 3 suicide attempts, just a child like molestation, going through that, dealing with that, and still being able to say, you know what, I decided to turn my life around and now I want to help the next generation. So on a more positive note, let's talk about that. Let's talk about like your life coaching and how that has just fueled you to help women now, and to help them in their paths, and to help them just bring something that was so ugly, right? Something that you dealt with that was just so ugly, but now it has motivated you to do something that is so beautiful.
Yeah, so it's just something that I've taken, and I feel like this is like a part of my purpose, is to take my story, develop it, put it in a way that's digestible, and give it to the women as a gift, to be like, here, this is your gift. This is my story as your gift to let you know that you're not alone and that we are in this together. You're my sister. And that's why I named my company Sisters in Self Care, because it's something that is a community type based thing. Like you're not in this alone. We're in this together. And so
Absolutely.
basically, yeah. So basically, that's the gist of it, is just making sure that they understand that this is something that they're not alone in.
Absolutely. That is awesome. That is awesome. So let's talk about maybe I know next week we're focusing on self-care. So I don't even want to get into that this week, cuz next week everybody has to tune in. Next week we're going to be focusing on self-care. But this month, because we're focusing on mental health awareness, you're living with a mental illness, is that correct?
Yes, I have several, but bipolar disorder is the main one.
Okay.
And that's another thing that I like to talk about as well, is fighting the stigma of bipolar disorder and how people use that term to describe certain things. Like, oh, this weather's bipolar, or she's bipolar, and it's not the least bit description of what bipolar is, or they're not in the least bit, living with the mental illness of bipolar disorder. And so
Mhm.
I like to say that you're living with a mental illness, to keep it separate from that person,
That
so
person,
that
yeah.
this is the condition and this is the person.
I feel like they do that, and even now, like, so I work in the mental health field, and
Mhm.
even for me, like, I'm gonna be honest, it's been, educational because I work with people that have a mental health, have a mental illness, and sometimes even the language, right?
Mhm.
We all have a mental health, just like we all have a physical health, right? They
Yeah,
tell you,
exactly.
and we focus on keeping our physical, keep your body in shape, diet, exercise, but nobody ever talks to us about oh, how do you keep your mental health in shape? Right? How do you develop coping strategies to deal with certain things so you don't have
Exactly.
to turn to suicide, or you don't have to turn to drugs, or you don't have
Hmm.
to turn to, whatever other forms that are negative coping strategies, versus what are some of the positive ways that we can deal with some of life's issues, some of the things that we may go through, some of the trauma that we may experience along our lifetime. So let's talk about, just that right there. Like, what are some things that people can do in order to develop healthy coping strategies versus some negative ones?
So the first thing that really helped me before I could afford anything that had to do with therapy or anything was a journal. Number
Okay.
one,
Hmm.
journaling is the biggest was the biggest part of my life up until I think my very first journal I got when I was, I think, 11. I got my very first journal at age 11, and it was very pivotal, and it was very monumental in helping me, get out my thoughts and, see where the growth was,
Hmm.
because a lot of times, sometimes a lot of it is just getting it out
Yeah.
and seeing
Pouring.
it and
Yeah.
recognizing it, getting it on paper.
Hmm.
And then after that is when I was able to get into therapy. And therefore, what I had on paper, I was able to organize it and see the thought patterns and see the behaviors of where I was going, where it was leading me, and working with that from there. Even though it was a long, long road, and I still had setbacks, but those setbacks were for comebacks. And so
Hmm.
that's how I viewed it. Even though it was a setback, I try to learn from every time. You know what I mean? And so it's another thing. Let's see, journaling, therapy, having a very good support system. Like if you can find a support group, even if you can't go to your family, NAMI is a very good nonprofit organization that helps you with support groups. Any support group, they have bipolar support group. They have just so many different, like schizophrenia. They have so many different groups that they help you with. That's another one. Let's see, even down to what you do personally, having some type of spirituality, music, listening to music, uplifting music, having a pet, having a pet, especially like very lovable pets. Personally, I love animals. So, having something to pet and talk to and have something to be a part of your life, your circle, you're taking care of it, it's taking care of you. You know what I mean? That's very helpful. Um, let's see, there's so many things I can name. I said a support system, support group, animals. Um, is there anything I'm missing?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think something that gives you purpose. So,
Mhm.
something
There you
that's
go.
bigger than yourself. So,
There you
having a why, having something that you love to do, something that you're just like passionate about. Because
There
I
you
feel,
go.
and that's what we try to do in our programs with girls. A lot of times, young girls will come and they're dealing with so much baggage. They come in and they're insecure about this, they're dealing with this, their body's changing, they're
Mhm.
dealing with bullying, they're dealing with identity issues. They don't know who they are. They don't know how to identify with this group or that group. So there's so many
Right.
things that young girls come into our programs dealing with. And so it's important that we give them purpose. And so a lot of
Definitely.
times, everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody has something they were good at. Everybody
Mhm.
has something that you are put on this earth, and nobody can do it like you do it. You have
Mhm.
a unique fingerprint. 20 million people can do that thing, but not one of them can do it like you. And it's always
Exactly.
amazing to me. And that's why I do not believe in competition. Like, competition to me is, it's like null and void, because it's like, at the end of the day, I can only compete to be a better version of me. Because no
Exactly.
matter if you put me and somebody else, like, we're never, so just like, and I always use this analogy, but you have a CVS and a Walgreens right next to each other, and they stay in their lane. They operate. They're both
Mm-hmm.
successful. You will
Yes.
have a McDonald's and a Burger King right next to each other, and they will operate. They, and everybody has a different flavor. I'm not gonna like what you like. That's why you can be a life coach. I can be a life coach. There's room
Exactly.
for everybody to have a
Everyone.
seat at the table, because
Exactly.
the people I haven't gone through what you've gone through. I haven't gone through that, so I may not be able to make an impact on someone that has gone through that, but you can. But there are things that I've gone through that you may have not gone through. And so somebody's going to identify with me more based on my life experience, based on my unique fingerprint. And so at the
Exactly.
end of the day, we like there's like, okay, what's the competition, you know what I'm saying? And so like I am a big believer in collaborations. I am a
Yeah.
big believer in just, let's reach everybody, right?
Exactly.
Instead of sitting here worried about, this, that, and the other. Like there are so many people that are suffering. There's so many women, there are so many girls, there are so many people that have gone through trauma, that are dealing with mental health illnesses that have yet to even been identified or have yet to be talked about. And so that's why, and that's the purpose of this conversation. That is the purpose of Confidence Tea, because we want to transform minds, edify souls, and most importantly, give you the confidence to walk this earth the way that you were designed to. And that is with power and with authority. And so I am constantly like it is in every fiber of my being, like, like just to help people like walk
Mm-hmm.
and embrace their confidence and walk in it, because it's a free gift. It's something that's
Yes.
given. It's almost like, once your eyes are open to something, you're like, oh man, I want everybody to know. Like I'm one of those
Exactly.
people. I'm not the one where if there's a sale, I'm not telling nobody, because I can't buy everything in the store.
Right. And that's a great
I'm gonna
attitude to
tell
have.
I'm gonna tell everybody about the sale.
Yes.
Because I don't wanna, and I always say this, people think I'm joking, but I
Mhm.
promise you, if you're watching, I am not playing with you. If I become a millionaire, I want everybody to be a millionaire with me. Because when it's time for us to do something, I don't want to have to pay for everything.
I
I
know that.
want if I'm going up, I want to take like everybody that wants to go
Everybody.
up. Let's go together. Because if I'm the
Right.
only person in my circle that's a millionaire, that means if I invite y'all, you're gonna be like, oh, can I get a ride? Girl, you gonna pay for that? No, like I want everybody to be like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, you want me to take care of it? What you want me to do? What you want me to take care of? Like, yes. Versus where
Exactly.
everybody's like, you gonna pay for that?
Yes. That and that community feel trickles down to so much that we've talked about today
It
about
it
I mean, about trauma and generational curses, being there for each other as sisters and being there for
mhm.
each other as a family and a community. And then we talked about mental health and being there for each other as a community. I mean, it so much can be solved by being together and being there for each other, you know? And instead of like cutting each other off and just not really just kind of being like, well, but just really being there for your sister, it's a lot that can be solved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is all, like I am like all about it. I love to
Yes,
collaborate. I love to
yes.
work together with other people because we all have a purpose. And
Hmm.
sometimes our purposes intertwine, they're connected. We can't do it alone. It's so much. There's so much for us to do that we have to lean on one another, because it could
Hmm.
be, I could have a moment of weakness. I could have a
Hmm.
moment where I'm struggling with something. I could be going through something, so sometimes we need each other. We need a support. Like sometimes just a simple word of encouragement. I think one of my friends messaged today, like they sent me a message today, and that meant so
Hmm.
much to me. Just a simple, like, oh my God, how are you doing? I'm checking up on you to see how you're doing. How are you doing? Because I
Right,
could be going through something just like the next woman.
right.
Just because, okay, I may act like I got it together, or it may appear like I got it all together. I may look like I got it all together, but looks can be very deceiving sometimes. And
Yes,
so, it's very important that we check on our sisters. It's very important that we keep the community.
Yeah.
Sisterhood is
Yeah.
very, very important. And there's
Yeah.
no room for competition with sisterhood. We just have to love on our sisters, fix her crown, right? There was a post about that on like some social platform. And don't tell
Yes.
everybody you fix it.
Right.
Like, if her crown is crooked, fix your sister's crown. You don't have to tell the whole world you were the one that fixed it. I think a
Fix
lot
it.
of
Right.
times we're so bent on credit, and it really doesn't matter. So what? You fixed it. Okay, whatever. Fix somebody else's crown. You should be so busy doing the work that you're not even worried about the applause. And that's what
Exactly.
I tell people: when you're truly passionate about something. I remember when I was getting ready to go into ministry, and
Hmm.
one of my teachers said to me, like, "Art, like, will you be okay if you never get a pat on the back?" And that's the calling. Like, that is the true calling, is to take up something that, even if they never say to you, "Good job," like, you're still like, you're gonna get up, you're gonna do that thing to your best ability. That is when you have found purpose. When you have
Exactly.
found your purpose, when you have found your calling, what you were placed on this planet to do, that is when like, I don't need you to clap for me. I don't need you to tell me nothing. I'm good. Like, and that is when you have found that thing. And not everybody gets an opportunity to find that thing in life. That thing that gets them up at 4 a.m. because there's things being downloaded in your brain and you can't hold on to it all. So you gotta write
Oh
it
my
down.
goodness. You gotta write it
And I know there are a lot of people that have that.
down. Yes.
I think I commented on somebody's page or something that was saying that today, like, oh my God, this is so much. I have to grab a journal and write all this stuff down. And that is what it is. And that is what I feel. Sometimes
Hmm.
I don't sleep. I'm up 3, 4 in the morning. I'm posting because I just got so much in me that I want to let it out. It has to come out some way, somehow, in some shape or form. And so, you know, um,
Yeah, that's when you know you're living in your purpose. You are
yeah, yeah.
living in it. You are
Yeah,
living
yeah.
in it.
And it
You are
and it all it doesn't always it doesn't always look or feel like you are, because you're like, what the world considers living on purpose versus what true purpose is and true passion. When you're truly passionate about something and you care about the work that you do and you care about making an impact and making
hmm
a difference, it's a whole nother ball game. Like, it's
hmm
totally different. It is
Yeah,
something completely set apart. And
yeah,
so it is an awesome feeling. If you're
it
watching
really
and you're
is.
listening and you have not found what it is that you were purposed to do, definitely, like, seek that thing out, right? Call me. We'll have a conversation. I'll tell you what that looks like, just to find that thing. And that's what we help girls do in our organization, is we help them to find that thing that gives them purpose, that thing that gives them life. And once
Hmm.
they find that, and we use that to channel that confidence, because once like, this is who I am, and this is whose I am, and this is what I was born to do, can't nothing stop you.
Nothing, nothing. And she's exactly right. She's exactly right. You will become immovable. You will be like
Yeah.
a stone. You will be like a stone set in concrete. You will become immovable once you find your purpose.
Yep, yep, yep. So awesome. So awesome. So we're like wrapping up to the end of the night. So, Kyra, what are some last tips you have, or final words for anybody that's watching, listening? We talked about a whole lot tonight. Like, it started out
Yeah.
talking about generational trauma. We talked about mental health. We've just dealt with a lot tonight. So what are some final words that you may have, and definitely let people know how they can connect with you, because some people may be watching and they may have dealt with similar scenarios, and they may want to participate in some of your programs. So let them know some final words and how they can connect with you.
So my final words is, you are a special gift. You are like fine linen. You are like the finest of silks. You're the finest of fabric. Please treat yourself like that. No one has the right to step on you, to crumple you up. You are the finest of fabrics. And remember that. Remember that. And that you are greater. You're more powerful than anything thrown at you. You can do it. You can make it. Trust me. Trust me. You can do it. You can do anything. You can be anything. Trust me. And as far as where they can find me, you can find me at Kyra Ariana _. So that's KYRAARIANA _. That's on Instagram. You can also email me at hello@kyraariana.com. So those are the two places where you can find me on Instagram and on my email.
Okay, so I got it in the chat. That way, if you guys want to reach out to Kyra so that you can chat, I feel like we have to be more open to developing relationships with other women. And
Yes.
I'm a big advocate. Like people know I will call you in a quickness and be like, hey, I saw your this. You want to be on my show? You want to come and
Yes.
have a conversation? You want to do a tea chat? And
And this,
so
yeah, it's so important, and I love what you're doing because it's so important to keep these conversations going because they're few and far and in between. But when you finally have those conversations, they can make some serious breakthroughs. They can make
yeah.
some serious breakthroughs. Seriously.
Definitely, definitely. So we have so much happening. I want to tell everyone that we are getting ready to do our third annual Confidence Glam Camp. And it is open to women and girls. We are going to be taking over Camp Grace in Roberta, Georgia. And so if you are in the Georgia area, Florida, Georgia, what's near North Carolina, holla at us. We are going to be taking over July the 8th through July 11th. That is a Thursday through Sunday. Definitely make sure you guys plug in. If you have a daughter between the ages of 9 through the ages of 18, we have expanded our reach this year because we had a lot of parents reach out saying they wanted their daughters to be able to participate because they're dealing with a lot of confidence issues now, and even with mental health awareness. They're dealing teenagers start going through. A lot of people that are diagnosed with a mental health, they're diagnosed at the age of 14, over 50%. And so we have to become aware of what our girls are dealing with in this age and time, and we have to provide them with the tools and the resources. And so Girls Igniting Greater Inner Strength is an organization that is dedicated to helping you do that. We understand that parents cannot do it alone. We want to make ourselves available to you. We provide programs, we provide mentorship, we provide free resources. You can go to our website at www.giginc.org for more information about our programs for girls between the ages of 9 and 18. The camp, like I said, is open up. We will also have a virtual segment. So if you're tuning in from somewhere else that's not near Georgia, feel free to reach out as well. You can go on our website. There is a registration form on there so that your daughters can participate in our camp. We are also having the whole month of May, we're focusing on mental health. So like our posts, share our posts. We are doing a t-shirt campaign. We've partnered with Campaign for a Cause. So if you are looking for a way to support Gigi Inc., you can definitely grab one of our shirts. And I am going to tell you where that website is in like 2 seconds. So definitely make sure you grab one of our t-shirts. That way you can support us because we need the support. We want to be able to help. We want to expand our reach, and we want to be able to do all of the things that we can do. And so if you want to be a part of that, if you want to help us, definitely make sure you support us in any way that you can, whether that be and not everything is financial, obviously, yes, but if it might just be sharing our message. Share a post, like a post, write us a positive comment, let us know that you appreciate the work that we do. Sometimes just that goes a long way. Sharing our messages, helping us get the word out about our programs and what it is that we do. And then, of course, definitely supporting us financially. That is a very important aspect because that helps us to be able to do more for the young girls in our community. So to support us, you can make a contribution on our website, www.gginc.org. We also have PayPal, Cash App. I'm going to throw that in there. Girls Igniting. And so that is where that is. And I am going to post the link for the t-shirts. That way you can support us as well. Campaign for a cause. Our shirts say confidence is water to blossoming minds, because that is what we do. We help young minds to blossom. And so we do it with joy. And definitely thank you for everybody tuning in. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole says, this is so good. It's amazing stuff. Leslie says it's great stuff. I'm so glad you ladies were able to tune in tonight. Definitely, if you're watching the replay, share this video. There's a lot of women that are out there that need it. Kyra, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in tonight. I really, really appreciate you. I'm so happy that we connected and that you were able to get connected. Kyra's going to be at Glam Camp, guys. So definitely, send your daughters. This is the perfect mother-daughter event, by the way. Glam Camp is no joke, y'all. I pull out all the stops. Like, we do things, you'd be like, what? we make camping, glamping, and we do it with style and class. And it is always a mind transforming, soul edifying, confidence activating event. Again, girls ages 9 to 18. We're going to have some amazing speakers, some amazing people that have partnered with us in order to make Glam Camp a success. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Kyra, again, it was a pleasure to have you tonight. Any final words to the people?
Just keep going and don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going and
don't stop, guys. Keep going. So thank you, everybody. This has been Confidence Tea Infusions, where we aim to transform your mind, edify your soul, and activate your confidence. Have a good night, everybody.